Greetings, fellow true believers. Tiki here.
And Bluedragonfive. Yes, folks, you've guessed it. I ventured to the Baltimore Comic Con, and I've brought back spoils and stories to regale you all with. So that's what we're here to do.
All right, Dragon, do you want to set up anything? Do you want to have like a thesis statement about the trip or anything, or do you want to just dive right into the different days?
Well, it was kind of in the midst of it, but yeah,
I'm sorry.
So that's right, folks. This year it's been a terrible year for me, unequivocally. So I've already been preparing for the Comic Con, and let's just say I was very much in need of the ultimate pick me up. There have been strategic planning for a lean, mean convention. Because it's been such a lousy year. In desperate need of a stress reliever, and a number of factors kind of swirling around me here, like all my friends, but one or no goes.
Ooh. And I know how valuable your friends have been in the past, just as far as like waiting in lines and stuff.
Yep. Oddly enough, the one friend that was able to show up was the one I made at Comic-Con last year. So
that's fun.
So big thing. So every year, my father and I, we go on Sunday because it's kind of how we kind of started the tradition in the first place. But he took ill this year. Nothing serious, but just ill. So that put a damper. On things with him for Sunday. So then the week of, I too took ill.
Oh no! Oh jeez.
That's why we didn't. That's why I wasn't on for Ahsoka that one day.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Yes. One could say, by all accounts, it was a fool's journey. So I
kind of assume that's kind of why we didn't do anything yesterday either.
Yeah, some additional recovery.
Just like a recovery day. Yeah, that makes sense.
So essentially, folks, this is just the worst possible. This is basically the roughest Comic-Con I've had maybe ever. There's a lot of things working against me. Pretty much sick as recovering from being sick as a dog, and it wasn't like I was like completely unable. But let's say earlier that week I was sick as a dog, and it's like of all the times to get sick, the worst in a calendar year, the worst. On an annual basis, the absolute worst time I could possibly be under the weather, it was this week. Well, this past week. So, yeah. So I'm gonna take you on and take my associate here on the secondhand journey, as it were. Here, assuming I can get this screen share working here. So, bear with me.
Oh, I forgot we had screen share stuff. Okay.
Yes, so let me see if I can. I believe it should be pretty straightforward. Just give me one moment here. So I'm going to take you through day one.
Right, let's get the banner up for that. Day one. Okay.
All right. Okay. I think it's okay. So day one, Tiki, I want you to tell me if we are seeing a shirt right now. Hello?
1 second. Now we are seeing a shirt.
Okay. All right. Well, it's hopefully a delay will not deter us too much here. So, yes, as you can see, this is the shirt I was wearing on Friday, my Defender shirt. Now, imagine it were gray, mind you. Gray and a little bit more like imagine the buildings were gone and it were gray. It's essentially what I was wearing.
Nice.
Little Defender shirt. So basically, day one, I had 2 prime targets. Okay, so this year mapped out. Again, we're going to give you some guests here. Let's just say because of the strike, most likely, the media guests.
Oh, I forgot about that. Oh, yeah, that probably affected things big time.
It did, but not entirely in the ways you'd expect. Now, I don't think necessarily because of the strike entirely it was why the media presence was on the low side, but it may have been the case. All I can tell you is I had seen the media guests before, so I did not see them this time. It was very slim pickings. Though. It was very much the only people that were there that I had seen were Chris Sarandon, And well, Ken Page was there, but I kind of had to prioritize, and Ken Page it usually comes to Monster Mania and stuff.
It's like I imagine if someone like a Stefan was there, you would obviously like make the time for him.
Absolutely. Surely I would, yes. Then they're basically the only other people there was.
And you would just be like, my friend told me that you were really good in that one vampire on a boat movie.
Yep. So alternatively, there was well, let's see, the Ken. So again, the Ken Page was there, which I mean, look, I like Ken Page. I like to see Ken Page, but I'm not going to necessarily pay money to see Ken Page. At least while I'm on a budget, you know. Then there was there was some guy from Harry Potter who it was like not a main guy or anything. I have no real interest in Harry Potter, so I kind of like I skipped past him. And the other person, less person, more only.
Okay, I'm gonna look it up because I'm curious.
It was Matt. I think it was Matt Lewis.
Oh, okay, Neville. All right.
Yeah, it was him. That guy was there. Okay, and alternatively, so the other thing there was the Impala Baby from Supernatural was there, but I already saw Baby there last year, so I didn't really get the double dip.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean the car was nice, and from a distance, you have to do the whole experience thing. I already kind of did that, so I didn't do that again. Anyways, that's kind of the media side of things. Basically, there's no media presence for me this year at the Comic Con. So the big guest, there's some good comic talent this year. So. Sadly, no John Romita Jr. For obvious reasons. His father had passed this year. I would not expect him to be at the con. Mm-hmm. So sadly, he wasn't announced. I don't believe. I'm saying last year he was there and he canceled, so he didn't show up. And I was really crestfallen by that. And anyway, this year for Friday specifically, the great Steve Rude was there. The man who's one of the great comic artists. There's actually this documentary you can find on like Tubi and some other places. It used to be on Amazon. They kind of shopped around. It's called The Rude Dude. It's basically about this. He's a wonderful artist who's he's very much in the Kirby style of things. This guy's renowned for his cover work. Did the world's finest Batman Superman book, which was with Dave Gibbons, the Watchman artist, who was the writer on that. He he has his own original character Nexus, which is interesting. And point being, this guy's done a bunch of stuff. Did Superman versus the Hulk for like an issue. Anyway, point being, so this guy, I'd seen that documentary, and this guy's a very interesting story. He's a bipolar artist. He's kind of, because of that, he was very much like a guy who bucked against the industry, and that's why he really, because of the way Marvel treated Jack Kirby, like he wouldn't work with him again, sort of stuff. So this guy's strong coffee. He's kind of like in the Brad Bird school of like, man, this guy really knows his stuff,
Nice.
And so I've been really hyped to see this guy when I saw he was announced. Like my eyes lit up, like, oh God, Steve Rude, I know this man. Mm-hmm. So like intimate from a distance via a documentary. I would like to
know for sure. It's kind of like the equivalent of like going to see a stand-up comedian that you've seen like a couple specials of already. You know what I mean? It's sure. Like, ooh,
Now, one of the big names, and this guy was very elusive because he's canceled a number of times, and I was very interested in seeing this guy, Brian Michael Bendis. You know Brian.
Oh yeah, Bendis. Of course, sure.
Man who without we do not have Miles Morales, we do not have Jessica Jones, we do not have Secret Invasion, the comic, but
Right. Yes. Thank you for clarifying. Right.
Ultimate Spider-Man being the biggest feather in his cap. Point being, Brian Michael Bendis, huge Marvel talent, as well as Superman. He did work on Superman and Batman in recent years at DC. It was a big thing they were touting up, like, hey, we got Bendis now. Look at us.
Nice, yeah.
Okay, the point is that's why I was wearing the Defender shirt, as you can probably guess. I was going to see Bendis here as the big get of like, okay, I don't want to risk this guy disappearing again on us. So I'm going to see him on day one. Plan. All right. So again, the plan is okay. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to start with the two big prime stars. I'm going to see Steve Rude and then the elusive Brian Michael Bendis. So it's Friday. I'm grabbing the Friday's a late start.
I like the game plan. It's like it's nice and simple. Seems pretty doable so far.
Yeah, yeah, and there were a few other small guys, kind of like
Right, but it's like it's kind of like how I approach theme parks in the sense that like you got like the two like must do's, and then everything else is kind of gravy.
The operative theme this year was to ideally do the people I have not seen or had not really have the chance to see, like versus the guys I see every year, sort of thing. You know, I want to
Made sense.
prioritize the new guys.
Sure.
So Friday's a late start. Friday's 1 to 7 versus like 10 to 7. So Friday's like the later start. I'm grabbing lunch, on the way down there. So it's an easier day. So I'm supposed to meet my buddy like Gary. Gary was the Spider-Man last year, the cosplaying Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, I remember him. Yeah, sure.
That is my new pal Gary. I've been befriending this year. So
It's
Gary,
delightful.
Gary, nice guy, love him. Gary and so basically Firestar from the cosplay. Gary and his lady friend. They are there all 3 days. I had procured them, like one of the 3 day tickets through kind of like shenanigans. I want basically it's like a double booking sort of thing. The point being, I'm definitely linking up with Gary when I get there. Problem: Gary notoriously late.
Ooh,
I did not expect Gary to be late during the convention compared to all the other last minute entrances that he is known to make. So my initial plans of let's hit Rude first are delayed, but not necessarily in the negative because it seems like Rude probably was not there from the start. It sounds like so. I'm in the Bendis line. So I'm in the Bendis line, kind of checking on Gary on the phone and kind of like that frazzle, like, oh man, Gary's killing me right now. Where is
he? Right.
So I'm in line, but apparently lateness is spreading. Apparently, like that's kind of a runner. A lot of people never show up on time at Comic Con. Bendis is not there at the start of things at 1:00. So I'm waiting in line. You may have camaraderie in line. Then they're multitasking. You find someone nice enough to hold your spot, and you're going to try and get some other signatures and do some other stuff while you're in said line, waiting for the big fish to show up. So I go to Jai Lee. Jai Lee. Now Jai Lee is a guy who did the Batman, Superman stuff back during the New 52, and more so. The big thing I wanted to give him to sign was one of the chapters from American Alien, the Max Landis story. He did the interview where Clark Kent interviews Oliver Queen because he gets mistaken for Bruce Wayne.
I seriously love that book.
Yeah, and then his
probably Max Landis's magnum opus, honestly, just as a writer.
I agree full-heartedly. I would say that, and that issue ended with the big Batman-Superman confrontation where Superman got the cape for that story. Anyway, so I brought on I only have just that Batman-Superman run and that American Alien issue. So the point is, Jai Lee it's a very, it's probably, I don't know, maybe less than 8 to 10 books, let's estimate. I don't know. So I'm showing up there, and I have no idea if he's got a book limit or anything. So I kind of took that, just kind of like fingers crossed, like, come on, at least let there be a freebie in there. Because minimum, my contingency was if I can only get 2 books signed, get number 1 of Batman, Superman, and that American Alien book signed. So I get there, and initially it's like he charges $10 per book. Like, oh no. No freebies. I can't get the entire thing signed. What pains me is like, okay, fine, I'll do the $10 for the 2 books just to get them. So again, I got the MVP books signed versus all of those. So already kind of inauspicious start. Like, okay, that's not great, but let's say this year's a big price gouging year, so it's a wallet wound.
I mean, to be fair, like I feel like this year, just like the entertainment industry in general, like it's all trickling down from the strikes. Like I imagine, like I don't know the actual logistics of this, but I imagine the strikes are kind of trickling down to other industries as well. So
you gotta remember the comic writers the comic writers are almost in a sense perpetually on strike, even before there even was a strike in the sense.
Right? Exactly.
Because that's the thing. Comic writers they don't even get royalties as a guarantee. It's usually depending on how generous the studios are feeling because they get credited regardless. So there's attention drawn, but they don't know because again the companies own the characters. There's only so much rights that they can really attain from what they've done.
So I just want to acknowledge that when it comes to talking about the prices and stuff.
Yeah. Well, for sure, but I mean, there is also a thing of representation in terms of the. Like, I mean, like representation, but I mean, like who's like repping the like the writers and the artists who are there, and they usually is like, hey, come on, charge them more, charge them more.
Okay, that's true. That is a side of Comic Con that I don't really know that much about beyond what you've told me. Yeah,
So because
it's
there's
almost
kind of
like little Randalls in their ear.
it's a twofold thing of the worst. I think the worst, most like kind of universal thing is like the talent, like like the agents and the representation will convince the innocent writer to like, hey, you didn't charge before, but you should charge now because you've earned it, right?
Oh,
Like the devil on the shoulder sort
yeah,
of
that
thing.
sounds very malicious.
But on the flip side, then you have just the thing of like, okay, well, I do not have representation. My other friends seem to be charging. Perhaps I should start that as well because I'm signing a number of books. Perhaps I should do this. So it was kind of like it gets a little muddy after a while. But usually when there's like a big like name brand behind them, it's pretty safe to assume people want money.
Insert obligatory muddying the waters joke here.
Yeah. Okay, so while I'm still waiting to bend this line, man has not shown up yet. I go to one of my Death of Superman artists. See, I have this big old omnibus, big old collection of the entire Death of Superman story, as well as a few spare comics as well from one of the artists, John Bogdanovi, Bogdanovi, if I'm saying that right. Anyway, so nice guy, really a storyteller. He's chatting up people in line. Nothing wrong with that, but there is one problem, and you'll notice this is a recurring thing with some of the artists that we will be venturing in within our journey here. The worst thing that could possibly happen when you're in a line, especially if you're on a time crunch, when you're like I'm between lines, space between spaces. I'm lines between lines.
Right,
Okay.
right.
The one problem you could have is when an artist is not saving all of their sketches, like when the people like will commission them for sketches at the con. Usually they will like okay, I'll be signing from here to here, and then I'm going to take a break so I can do all the sketches. When an artist is doing the sketches right there,
Oh yeah. Oh, I can imagine.
so that's what was happening with John here.
Again, I just every time we go over this Comic Con thing, I just want to reiterate this is like the antithesis of the environment that would be right for me to be in. This would be I would straight up freak out. I'm not even joking. I'm not joking.
Yeah.
Like this is way too high pressure for me.
Oh yeah. So again, in Rhett, you just kind of want to shake them and say, "Look, take care of the quick signatures."
Right.
Because here's the thing, John Bogdanovi here. He has a great thing where he has a one. At the very least, there's one freebie, which again, a time where if Gary were here, it would help me, but he's not yet. So, but again, regardless. The important thing is I gotta get that big old omnibus signed because I have all the other Death of Superman guys signing that. So it's almost like a yearbook of the Death of Superman people. So that's the important one. So that's fine. So like one freebie that's fine. Okay. So it's like okay. So I'm in lines like okay. I just want to get these signed. It's I kind of took my like stack of I don't know. Let's say it was maybe 5 or 6. I then reduced it to 3. It's like $5 a book plus the freebie, which I guess it's fair. Yeah, it's fair. So, but still, it's a long wait for this guy, and now I'm caught between two lines. This line, and now Bendis has arrived.
Oh God! Oh no! Oh no!
So again, like I'm kind of going back and forth, and I have like
Where's
a
your
line
friend when you need him? God damn it!
in traffic, it would seem.
Oh God!
So Gary drives from a long way all the time.
And also, when you consider with cons, I can't imagine the parking is great either.
Oh, it's terrible. That's the thing is,
Yeah, exactly. That's what I always factor in when I'm hearing people like tell stories about like, oh, I'm waiting for this one person and they're on their way. I'm like, but parking's gonna be a fucking nightmare.
Absolutely. So I'm making a line buddy who's actually a runner for like 2 days. This gray haired bearded gentleman who has
nice,
a brother.
nice.
This is serendipity. This guy almost has like a spy in the midst here, where I have this guy, and he has a brother, and his brother is in the other line.
Oh God!
And this happens. This kind of happens for 2 days. So he has his brother is in the Bendis line. So I'm kind of having eyes on the situation there. Like okay, do you have a line on your brother? What's the situation?
Oh God! This is like y'all are like literally like going over like war plans.
Absolutely. So there's that. There's some camaraderie there, and he's holding my spot. So I go to a third line.
Oh no! You're opening a third line.
I'm opening a third line.
Oh God! You madman!
Katie Cook is another one who is like she kind of has been dipping out of a few cons. She's an artist who does these cute little watercolor sketch cards, and I've been wanting to get her for a couple of years now. After it's been forever since I got her do anything last, which I had her do the Sandy Brandberg Deadpool sketch from a few years ago. So I go there, and again, here's the thing: she doesn't really have like a line, but she's doing sketches at the table because her sketches go by really quick. That's her whole shtick. But still, it's the fact that she's being chatted up and she's doing this little. She's doing a sketch for for a guy, and again, that's ordinarily fine and dandy. But again, between two lines, I'm kind of dying inside right now.
Dragon, I would be one step further from you. I would literally be dead from the stress. It would literally give me a heart attack, and I would die right on the convention.
But here's the thing: I have a contingency here. Like, okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I only have like two people in front of me here. Okay, like the one guy and then the other guy. This other guy in front of me has a really good story, though. He has this amazing. I'm gonna briefly tell you this aside here. This guy has an amazing story in which he goes to cons every year, and almost the way I do my Sandy Brandberg sketch, this guy is going to step beyond. He has artists and writers, even the writers, do a little sketch card of themselves, a little self-portrait sketch card.
Oh, nice.
And he has like a binder full of them, and they're amazing. Awesome. Some of them are like he gets really interesting reactions from. Like, for example, Frank Miller. Even he had an encounter with Frank Miller in which he went up there. And the very grouchy, seemingly very grouchy and very crazy hat era Frank Miller. It's just like, well, Frank, actually, instead of an autograph, I would like a little.
Frank Miller is like Dave Filoni's evil twin with the hats.
So that's great. So Frank Miller, he basically tells me a story. Frank Miller basically just like slapped his hand down on the table. It was like a big moment. He's like,
"Oh God,
give me a card." And someone got him a card, and he did like a quick little sketch, this little cartoon, like a big nose Frank Miller wearing a hat with the autograph. It was amazing. It was like, oh, I was blown away by it. And then you have like some that are sadder than others, like Tom King. He does like terrible sketches. People ask me, he calls it the "I'm sorry" sketch. He does like a terrible doodle and says, "I'm sorry." But that thing, so like fun stories and all sorts of stuff there. Anyway, so that guy. Anyway, so my plan. So Katie who says, "Hello, Miss Cook," and I'm making the pleasantries and everything. So here's like, I'd like a number of sketches from you. Here's the best part about her sketches. All of the proceeds this year went to the Parkinson's Foundation, Michael J. Fox's Parkinson's Foundation. So like, she didn't make a profit off any of her sketches. This is really nice of her. So this is okay. So I want 4 sketches. I'm gonna leave. I describe it to her. She writes it down. Says, "I'll be back later. You take all the time you need. I'll be back for him later." I pay her in advance, and it's all good. So one line taken care of. I go back. There's been little progress on the John line, but that Bendis line, it's moving.
Oh boy.
Again, Bendis is like the super busy one today, by the way, is the busiest line of all.
Yeah, I would imagine he would be. He sounds like the e-ticket of the day.
And here is why. Not just because he's Brian Michael Bendis, Tiki, but Bendis, unlike every other talent there this year, Bendis has no book limit.
Oh.
Nice guy. Bendis is a wonderful man. He'll do big. Here's the thing. People are taking advantage, and part of me doesn't blame them. Okay, so there's like books, piles and piles of books. So that's where I'm operating on my hopes of just kind of like evening out the lines here. Like, okay, people are bringing big old stacks of Bendis. Okay, I'm getting so close to the John here. So there's a long wait. I'm caught between the lines, and after all this Katie Cook stuff, oh boy. I return. I go back between the two lines to kind of touch base on things. Things are getting close. The other guy warns me, like, "Okay, man, but I wououldn't be out too far though, because we're getting close." And it's like,
oh no!
But I'm seeing there's like a lot of people by the table, and you're gonna love this. So Anyway, so I go back. I have to go back because I'm getting close with him too. I go back there, I get my 3 books signed, and I tell you, man, I'm a little peeved at this point.
Okay.
The tension is mounting. Okay, so I'm between because there's tension between the 2 lines, and the fact that he's charging at the freebie and everything, and it's like, you know what, I'm not 100% intentionally doing this, but I get the book signed by Bogdan Ovi, but I'm in such a hurry here. I have like the money ready, but you know what? He signs the books, we make our pleasantries, but you know what? I don't pay the man.
What?
I don't pay the man.
Like intentionally or
Not
accidentally?
it was accidentally, but here's the thing: there's like an opportunity where it's like I'm wondering, like, is he gonna ask? Like, he didn't ask it. I didn't question it, and I was in a hurry, so I left.
Oh man, that's crazy. Oh
You know, there were
geez.
no repercussions or anything, and it's his own fault for not saying something. Okay,
But still, if it was me, it would the what if in that situation, like I don't want to put like fear in your head, Dragon, but like if it were me, my anxiety would be like basically like a telltale situation, like he will remember that.
oh, you're gonna keep that in the back of your mind.
Okay.
Okay, so anyway, the point being, I return to the Bendis line, and then something bad happens.
Oh God.
I go there, and I'm horrified to see that my line holder has already moved up to the table.
Oh no.
And I have just missed Bendis.
Oh dude, come on.
And it's gonna get worse. So I see, I go there, and the guy's like, apologize. I'm sorry, man. I did okay. I said, it's fine. I know you did all you could. It's all right. So I'm about to take the lumps, and here's the thing: Bendis had a panel of 3. The guy shows up late, and he has a panel of 3. Go figure.
Oh God.
So I learned that he says, "Oh yeah, Bendis has a panel." Like, yeah, I heard about the panel. Says like he's not going to be back until 6. It's like 6. He's not going to be back till 6. So Tiki, you know how we usually have the red shirts and everyone.
Oh yes, I remember the red shirts.
This year we have the teal deals.
The teal deals.
Yep, there's always some sort of deal with these guys, and they're wearing teal.
Okay, I love it. I love it.
Teal deals. I mean, again, technically their names are minions, but at this point, the teal deals.
Well, I like how every year you kind of switch it up based on the circumstance.
Yep. So we have the teal deals, and they tell me, you know me, my relationship with these guys. None of them knows anything, so I'm taking it with wariness. But they say,
can I ask you something? Like you might have clarified this before, but just so I remember, is it like the same people? Like, do you run into the same faces every year, or they're like? No.
These guys, it's just they take random volunteers, assumably unpaid, which is why they don't care.
Okay, got it. So it's not like there's like people that you like show up and it's like, oh, there's that guy again.
I mean, Tiki, there's kind of a look to him, but it's not really like
okay, gotcha.
Specifically place or remember, like full on. Admittedly, I think the only person that's there every year are some of the ladies the older ladies who are sitting by the front entrance. I think that's probably about it.
Okay.
Like, you probably have people that somewhat work security or like work for the building or like specifically for the con, but that's like those are the only people that are not wearing the shirts. Like, you have like a lady and maybe like a red blazer of some kind. You know, it's about it. Like one lady though. So other than that, everything else is probably just like whoever volunteers they could get. Also, just to kind of change things up visually here, something evocative of the signatures and symbols, because day one's not going to have a lot of pictures, folks. Here we have this guy I saw in line on the way in. This guy has like a Captain America shield. It has basically pretty much all of his signatures on it.
Like all the Avengers?
No. I mean like all the Comic Town. Like you have like Frank Cho.
Oh, okay, nice.
Like Jim Shooter.
Like everyone who kind of contributed to Captain America that he could find.
Exactly. Everyone who's drawn Captain America.
Awesome.
It seems. I don't think Evans is on there. I think it's purely. I mean, Evans could be on it, but I think it's all Comic Town. Anyway. So, just again, something in the pursuit of signatures, I feel it's kind of appropriate. So, point being, I've missed Bendis. I asked this guy, okay, wait, so should I just wait here? He's like, no, just come here about, basically like 10 minutes before 6. He says, okay, 10 minutes before 6. Yeah, 10 minutes before 6.
All right.
Anyway, so now Gary has shown up, and we have Gary and the lady friend, and we were waiting for Steve Rude. Now I was like, I walked by Steve Rude and said, "Oh yeah, he's showing. He's on his way back from the panel. He'll be in like fifth, like he's basically on his way back from said panel. So like we're at like 3. So I show up there, so it's like 3:30 or 3:15. So I'm expecting him to like 3:30 or something. So Gary, myself, and the friend are waiting. Steve Root has a limit of like one freebie, and then it's like $10 per book. Now, I'm just grateful that Root was doing a freebie period, because that guy, again, being how he is, and being he's very much kind of an artsy kind of guy. Who knows what he would charge? You know,
I mean, I don't want to make a joke about his name, but like,
well, that's the thing. He's strong coffee. Like he
yeah, exactly.
What I understand, good with fans, not so good with cops.
Okay.
Anyway, that's not political. I'm just saying, literally, as a it's kind of a cops would will.
No, I kind of get what you're saying though. Like he is an outspoken individual.
Yeah, like that's the thing. That's the thing. Steve Root's gotten into some legal trouble in the past because of his bipolar stuff that he's been dealing with. So
shit, I can relate.
That's the thing. So he's not like a bad guy or anything, but he has like he was dealing mental illness before it was in vogue. That kind of thing.
Oh, so, don't get me started on people trying to make mental illness a trend, Dragon. That is don't get me started.
Okay, well, you know what I mean.
No, I know what you mean. I'm just saying, like, that is that's a hot button issue for me personally. I will rally against those people.
The point being, Steve Rue's got a nice table kind of set up there, and sorry, give me 1 second. I'm trying to find something. Okay, I'll Okay, I'll show it to you later in the art section. Let's just say I bought a really cool print from Steve Rude that has, I bought a cool print from him. I bought like my first Nexus book because I always wanted to get into his character, but I haven't really been able to get it yet. So I figured I'd buy it from the source, seeing the con was coming up. So I bought my first Nexus book, so I'm going to get into that.
All right.
So again, I got 3 because I have Gary and the friend there. I can get 3 of my 4 Steve Rude books signed, and my hope is to get the 4th one signed at a later point during the day or during the con or something. So I wouldn't have to bite the bullet and get the other one signed for money. So it's a long wait because it took, again, Steve Rude is late showing up because he chats with everyone on his way walking up, apparently. So he's late showing up, so it's a longer wait than I was hoping for. And he is doing a sketch at the table.
Of course. And at a certain point, does this start to like bleed into like you having to be back?
Well, this is more just kind of a courtesy thing of like, like Gary and the lady friend want to, like, they just showed up and they want to see stuff. And it's like, I don't want to keep them waiting forever. And then, but there is like, again, this is like getting past 3 and like we're getting more into the 4 o'clock area. And it's like, well, again, at some point 6 is going to happen.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's definitely taken a lot longer than it hopefully should have. So there's that. So eventually, I do get. I mentioned I meet Steve Rude, and I'm chatting with him, and he's. It was not a long, extraneous chat like I was expecting with how long things were taking, but nice guy. We kind of commiserated over World's Finest, the book they wrote. Again, did not get into like the weeds with things, but things worked out there with Steve Rude. I gotta admit there was maybe a bit of tension because I don't know how Steve Rude interacts with people, just knowing that he's kind of been through some stuff. I don't know because the guy's an eccentric. I have no idea.
Sure, yeah.
It worked out well. It worked out kind of like somewhat the mentality I was wondering with Frank Miller how that would go. Frank Miller was very pleasant to me last time, but it could have gone very south. I don't know.
Right. Just don't talk politics with Frank Miller, and you should be fine.
Regardless, I did have some bad art luck this day. Not art luck and things going wrong. Art luck in terms of things I was hoping for. Just, Adam Hughes was there, the wonderful artist Adam Hughes. He, usually has. I was expecting to buy some Adam Hughes prints because I wouldn't commission Adam Hughes art because if you can't get like the full ink and paints and everything from his work, it's just kind of like it's kind of his whole thing. If you can't, it's just gonna be like a pencil sketch. It's not really gonna be worth it. So I'm expecting all these wonderful Adam Hughes prints, and it's just like the only selection that's there is like in a little display behind. I'm like, really? I said to the representation, like, really? That's all the prints? That's it? That's all of them? This is like, well, yeah. I mean, we hadn't really had like a big book since like a few years ago. It's like, okay, so I didn't buy any Adam Hughes art. I was kind of looking forward to. It was like,
Kind
okay,
of
you know,
probably disappointing both you and him in the process because
I
he's probably like, no, I should have had more product.
I know. I mean, I hated to say it that way, but I kind
Right,
of had
right,
to. It's like
right.
I said, are those aren't all the prints, are they? He's like, yeah, they are. It's like, oh man, that's
That honestly sounds like a painful interaction.
yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I don't have to
Because
tell
it's
you. I
like
mean,
because you respect the guy, you don't want to like just let
yeah.
him down, but at the same time, he's
I mean,
kind of
the
letting
only
you down a little bit.
I mean, he had all he had was Zatanna. I mean, look, I wanted a little bit more variety than Zatanna. Okay, so then I go to EM Scribbles. EM Scribbles, Eric Matos. He does wonderful art. Here's the thing: I wanted one very specific. I bought a whole bunch of Eric Matos art before, and that's the problem. I've already bought a whole bunch of Eric Matos art. The one thing I
Right.
wanted was this Talia al Ghul print that he has the original art of, which is going for like 200 plus bucks, which I can't really swing. But what I would have loved is a print of it. And
Uh-huh.
last year he ran out of them. This year he did not have any of them. So it was like, oh, stymied. Like, oh,
All did.
I took a picture of it but it's still like I want the physical thing.
Right.
So stymied again. Anyway, so let's just fast forward into the day here. I'm in the Bendis line, the 6 o'clock Bendis line. But here's the thing: so I'm there like at exactly the time he told me. I'm there a little before 5:50.
I had a feeling when you pointed out like exactly the time you told me that wouldn't probably work out very well, that there might be some complications.
But expecting that, I went at 5:40. Okay, I'm there at like 5:40.
Okay.
And there's a big line still. I mean,
Oh
I'm not
God.
at the tail end of the line, but you know what? It's still a sizable line is there when I was expecting not so much a sizable line to be there at this time. And I'm telling like the other a different teal
You
deal.
know what? It's funny. I've been there too with stuff, and it's like, it's a tricky thing to balance where it's like you don't want to show up too early where you're literally like the first person there, but at the same time, you don't want to. You don't want to show up and there's already like a big crowd. It's like kind of like a delicate balancing act.
No, I
you
will
have to
gladly be the first person there, Tiki. I have no qualms being the first person there.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I hear you though. But that's the thing. So I'm going to like I kind of walk to the end of the line, be a little peeved at the other teal deal, and I see the other teal deals. Like there's always like a guy at the end of the line saying line ends here. Sometimes if it's usually gonna be like a teal deal with the big talent who holds who's like the sign holding guy. And I go
I'm
there,
very familiar with those types of people because they have infiltrated Disneyland now because Disneyland can't keep their crowd controlled shit in check.
So I saunter down there and I'm telling that I'm casually mentioning to that teal deal guy my discontent says, so yeah, so how long did it, when did everyone start showing up? Says, oh yeah, they've been here since like 3. He says,
What? Oh shit!
They say pretty much since he left for the panel, and that's when I get incensed, and that's when I say something to the man. The other gentleman in the teal shirts that was here earlier, he told me not to do that. You can understand I'm a little upset by this. And of course, he's stymied. He doesn't know what to say because I have his number. It's like, so
oh man.
The nice guy in the line next to me says, you can take my spot, man. It's just one guy in this long line. But it was nice of him, though.
Right. Like good gesture. It's not really going to do much.
No, it was a nice gesture. It's a funny moment. I'll give you that. It's like, okay, well, at least I moved by one. I'll take it. And this is where things are going to get tense, my friend. Are you ready? Can you handle any more tension?
I got to admit, Dragon, so far, this is already like the most intense Comic-Con thing you've ever done.
We're about to ratchet it up to 10, my friend.
Oh, God. Okay. Totally.
Okay. So the line moves once he arrives. Until it takes him a while to arrive. Again, all the books are free. But here's the thing, Tiggy. There's only an hour left in the whole con.
Oh no!
And it's unlimited books. And the line is not huge. It's like you can see it. It's not like to go into the odds ends of the earth here, but it's still like
fill up a room.
Well, that's it's a giant convention center, so I can't say fill up a room. But
okay, got it. Because I'm kind of like my context for this is like my local bookstore. Like,
think of it like this, Tiki. You have like a big old like convention center space, but when you have a big line, it goes up against the wall. In this case, the wall against like the snack area, wall against like the overpriced food area. So, point being, it's a line within. You can see it. It's like it's right. He's right there. Okay, it's just like a row of people away. Not a huge line comparatively, but still a firm line. And there's only an hour left. There's unlimited books. And then that teal deal screwed me, so he's kind of put me back further than I'd like to be in this time sensitive situation. And the line moves once he arrives. But then this other guy in front of me here, we're making chit chat in the line. I'm thinking I'm making a line of coins here, but then I realize, oh no, I've been marked. This guy in the line is griping.
Oh no!
Is griping about, like, you know why this line's so big, man? Because people are bringing big stacks for Bendis and like incentive stacks. I understand exactly where this guy's coming from, but what this guy doesn't understand is that I have brought all my Bendis comics because this guy keeps canceling every year. And I don't have Gary in line with me to take some of the stack. Dude. So I am like, usually I'm waiting till I get up to that closer and closer.
Okay, here's the thing, like, you know that I crumble under conflict, right? So it's like, oh, this would just, I would be dead again.
This guy, this guy doesn't know. This guy doesn't know, and the guy behind me who graciously let me from, like, he has one comic, and I have this sizable stack. Like, it's not giant, but it's definitely, that's a stack, man.
It's not like the most over the top stack, but it's definitely like not the, it's definitely still like a sizable bunch.
Because I don't have like a lot of Bendis, but I have at least like a good sampling of Bendis. Like, here's Jessica Jones. Here, I don't have the Gods of Daredevil with Bendis. I have like at least maybe 2 Daredevil books. And then then they have the Batman, the Superman, and the the DC stuff, which again is more the rarity with Bendis. Anyway, point being, I've sizable out of Bendis here. So this guy, the ranty guy, does not know that I have this. I'm almost exactly what he's talking about, which is making me a little hot under the collar. And then the other guy behind me, I'm feeling bad because, oh man, I took his spot. There's only an hour left. What if
oh god!
So I have both ends of the spectrum here on the thing.
Again, I would literally die. I would perish. I would cease to be.
I'm keeping a chipper attitude here because I'm thinking, like, okay, look, I know the way I'm gonna do this. Where these other guys they're laying them all out and they're taking forever. It's like, okay, the way I usually do this thing when I want to like pound through it, because the Bendis is making quick with the signatures. I can bag them out, and by the time he signs them, it'll be like putting cards on a table practically. It'll be like a magic trick.
Sure.
So I know. Basically, I'm confident. Like, okay, I know I can do this quick. And then what's not helping are like the teal deals, like saying, "Yeah, sorry, man, for the line," because people like they're taking advantage and they're trying to rationalize their.
Oh my god! Oh.
I just want to punch this guy right now, but I can't. It's like, you're not helping me right now. So anyway, so I'm there at the table, and the guy, this teal deal says, okay, we see that guy in the green mask. When he leaves, you can go up there and take his spot. Guy in the my eyes are locked on this guy because I can't even take my books out until I'm at the table. Frankly, I can't even do that because because it's not just like 1 or 2 books. It's like it's a stack. I got to be at the table to do that. So I'm about to walk up. And then the ranty guy in front of me, he has taken that spot.
Oh god!
I was like, hey, where am I going here, buddy? So he directed me to the other side of the table in full view of everyone. So I'm at that table and like, okay, I'm unpacking, and and then that teal deal guy says, and that's too many books. And I don't know if he's talking to me or the other guy. He's probably talking to me. It's like, okay, I'm thinking in my head. Not helpful, but again, I'm thinking like, man, I got it in hand. Just trust me on this.
Right.
I'm laying him out. Bendis is as kind as can be. Bendis, sweet man, loving man. We're talking here, and he's signing them all. He's cracking them out, making chit chat as he signs. Things are going well. I'm telling how much I love Jessica Jones, and he's telling me like, oh yeah, me and David Mack, we were having like lunch, and we heard people talking about the show, and it's like, yeah, we were, it's the fact like. We love that we were able to put that out in the world and everything. So, he's very nice about it and everything. And I'm mainly geeking out about Jessica Jones with him for a bit there. And he says, oh yeah, like that Powers. Like, if you watch the Power show, just jump to season 2. Don't even watch season 1. It's like, oh, that's good advice. Thank you. And I'm thanking him for Miles Morales and stuff. So unfortunately, all the comics everything gets signed. However, because of all the pressure and lack of help and everything, the graphic novels I had signed got a little botched. They were signed, but because I didn't have any help, no one held open was able to. I wasn't able, and I was rebagging and everything because of the pressure. I wasn't able to hold the flaps of the books open, so they're a little stained on the other side of the book. So the signature is there, but it's a little, it's not a perfect signature.
Yeah.
So it's not smudged, but it's like it bled onto the other side of the back side of the cover, which it just basically, I don't know, it's not flawless. Anyway, fun note, Bendis loved this shirt. He took a picture of it.
Nice. I can imagine.
Yeah, that was a good victory. That was a big victory.
Where do you get that shirt?
TeePublic.
Oh, TeePublic. Nice.
Well,
I also use TeePublic. Sponsor us! No, I'm just kidding.
Remember, mine looks a little different than this, but essentially it's this.
Right, yeah.
I think you can pick different colors and stuff on.
No, I know how TeePublic works with the colors, yeah.
Okay, let's see. So, let's see. I'm realized. Sorry, give me 1 second here. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna skip forward to this here. So on my way out, I saw these adorable knitted figures by Tangle Penny.
You know what? It was a stressful day, but it looks like these kind of like were a good palate cleanser.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I would have loved to have bought one. The problem is that these things cost the price of an Oldsmobile. Like these figures, they articulate and everything. They're custom made, and it's a nice lady who makes them. But they're like the cheapest you can get them for is like $250. The most would be $450. So little price, but again, like Jessica Jones, Daredevil, you got Cable. This one's really funny because she has these little dioramas and stuff, art of them too. So
that's fun.
Yep, she did not make an Iron Fist. I'm sure not by accident. And little.
I love that one.
Yep, and here's another one. You got Deadpool raising money.
Oh, nice.
Deadpool's raising money, so he's selling tacos.
You know what, Dragon? Dare I say these displays kind of have a little bit of a Taiwaner vibe. And I say that as a compliment because that man was meticulous with his convention setups.
Frankly, I love these, and I would have loved to have bought one of them. But again, they're too much, man.
I feel you. It's like I feel like it would be worth it, but at the same time, it's like you just don't have that disposable income.
Yeah, and then there's she has some nice deep cuts too. This is Aziraphale and Crowley cool. From Good Omens. This is Michael Sheen and David Tennant.
Yeah.
Okay, so that brings us to day 2. I returned from the con, and I gear up the next day. My buddy Gary, he pointed out like, hey, one of the Batman: The Adventure Continues artists was there today, and I was, oh man, he's gonna have to dig out more stuff. I gotta dig out, which again, I was Tiki. I was so perfectly planned, so I would not have to dig things out while I was sick as a dog, and I had to dig stuff out. And I forgot that I learned the hard way. Mike DiCarlo was there at the con. Like, oh boy, I gotta get some DiCarlo stuff because he did models for the DCAU. Anyway, so thankfully it was not bad. I pretty much knew where everything was, so it wasn't like it took the wind out of me, but it didn't kill me. But I also had to finish my thank you letter for the big guest for Saturday. It was only going to be there for 1 day only. Okay, so get ready for Saturday, Tiki. Do you have the banner up?
Yeah, day 2's up. Yeah.
Good. Okay, do we have any comments, by the way? Because I can't see anything.
No. I'll let you know if we do get any, but so far not any. No.
So this is what I wore for day 2. This along my utility belt. Yep. Got so many compliments on this shirt, by the way.
No, so for real, you've been that honestly kind of has like a Brad Bird concept art kind of vibe to it.
It is. It's Art Deco for sure. The main reason I bought the shirt, as you can tell, this is a Roosevelt shirt. Roosevelt does great work. They make the shirts out of this Kunaflex material. But essentially these the shirts all have have an interesting pattern. This is done for the 100th anniversary of Warner Brothers, and I got this shirt because the animated series Batmobile's on it, the original animated series Batmobile.
Nice.
That is why. It's got a little bit of everything on there, but that is why. Anyway.
That
So,
reminds me of when I bought that one. Like I already had a Nickelodeon shirt, of all the Nicktoons.
mhm.
But then I saw another one with Reptar on it, and I was like, oh, I got to get another one just for Reptar. All right.
All right. So it's Saturday. Saturday's the big day because I have the big guest of the whole con for me. Look, as much as Steve Rue was up there for me, and Bendis as well, but the big guest were Saturday. One of them was a little on the last minute side, which is like, oh boy, of all the times for him to show up, I'm happy he's there, but not. But why does it have to be the day I have this other huge guy who's going to be there? And I already bit the bullet, so I'm going to do this guy. It's Scott Snyder.
Oh, Scott Snyder, your boy.
Yep, he was the last minute addition. Like, oh,
okay.
God. Scott Snyder's going to be there. And the other guy, I'm going to hold off on telling you who it was.
Ooh, okay.
That guy, I don't think you're going to recognize instantly, but you'll probably know him. Okay, so the big mission for me is Snyder. Like, okay, big mission's Snyder. And he's not the thank you note this thing. I've already written, like, God knows, annually thank you notes for Snyder. He gets it.
Right, so, at a certain point, it's like, okay, bro, I get it.
Yeah. So I'm improving health-wise at this point because I'm pounding all the Dayquil and everything. But again, I can't take it while I'm at the con because I don't have access to water. Like, I'm doing the full camel thing, man. I don't no drinking, no eating. Like, while I'm on the floor, nothing, no breaks.
What do you mean you don't? Oh God, that would be yet another thing that I physically just could not do, is just go without water.
I do it before and after, not.
Oh God, no! Oh God!
I gotta limit the water intake so I don't have to use the bathroom, and I'm not eating.
Oh
anything,
man,
so.
you maniac!
But yeah, that's the thing. Yep.
I'll tell you one thing. That is actually like a stark contrast with you and me, because like on my theme park trips, like water is one of the main expenses because I don't like carrying around I know that there's the refillable containers and stuff, but the refillable water bottles. But Dragon I don't like carrying those around because most of the time you gotta put them in a locker to go on a roller coaster. I don't want to deal with that every time I go on a ride. B, a lot of the time the filtered water that you do get is not great. So yeah, I'm spending a lot of money on the bottled water. So you're smart, my friend, to not do it.
So that's the thing. So like in the morning, I'm eating like a pack of cookies, like a pack of Butter Crunch cookies, just like to sustain myself for the rest of the day. That's all
I've done that with theme park days.
That's all I've done. So I only had that before I even left for the thing. I did that, my shot of Dayquil, and I was off. So again, I'm improving, but because of all the last minute stuff I had to do and dig around and everything in the thank you note, I was operating on less sleep than I would have liked. I got the belt, I got the shirt on and everything, so I'm heading down there. And sadly, almost every year at the Comic Con, the way they time it, for some ungodly reason, usually on Sundays, so it was happening on Sunday, but this Saturday threw some curveballs. There's always like a stupid sporting event of some kind.
Oh yeah, that'll fuck with you.
With the con, that's always on Sundays. So what happened this time, I did not expect. I don't think anyone expected. Was marathon traffic. And by marathon traffic, what I mean is a literal marathon was going on.
Oh no!
As in, people are stopping someone.
I'm sorry, that just straight up sounds like something out of a sitcom. Like you're trying to get somewhere and there's literally a fucking marathon going on.
And it was like no one expected or planned on it. So it's like I was like, what the heck is the whole traffic? But I mean, what the heck is going on here? And we finally get up to it. It's like, oh my, it's not a car accident or anything. It's a freaking marathon. And it's just killing me. So I was there far later than I would have liked to have been.
I mean, I feel like in a way, it's like obviously, it's like with the asterisk that we don't want anyone to actually get hurt. But I feel like in a way, the car accident would probably be the better case scenario for you because like eventually a car accident's going to get cleared up. But this marathon, you just got to fucking wait it out.
Yep. So thankfully, I got there before the convention started, but still, it was like I usually like to be there an hour before the convention starts.
Well, it's like the theme park rope drop philosophy. It's like essentially what you want to do with theme park rope dropping is rope drop the rope drop, if that makes sense. Like you want to essentially be one of the first people there, like at, like arriving to get to the rope drop. Does that make sense?
No, it does, but that's the thing. So Saturday has like my high value targets are on Saturday. My goal is like, okay, in a perfect world, I have my 2 Saturday only people are going to be there. And I have basically, I'm going to try and get as many of the other, here's the thing, because Saturday was such a big deal. If I only brought the stuff I needed Saturday, I could have traveled a lot lighter. But my plan was, okay, because Saturday is the day I'm going to have the longest amount of time at the con. I will bring everything because I'm in a position this year where I actually could bring all my Sunday stuff with me on Saturday in the roller bag that I always bring. I could bring it all, and I could just pound it out as much as I can and make Sunday go as smoothly as possible. So that's what I did. So I get there, and again, this lateness is wigging me out. Like, oh god, I cannot miss these 2 high value targets today of all days. So that's the thing that's going to jam me up and everything. So I get there. I'm in line for Snyder. Again, Gary, nowhere to be found, and I need him for Snyder.
Oh God!
At least, or so I thought. So the big mission is Snyder, and I do all the recon on Snyder and everything, and online. So Snyder is represented by the only thing worse than the teal deals.
Oh no!
The sketched comic art booth.
Okay.
Sketch comic art, they do guys like Tom King and everything. They represent Tom King, pretty much all the major Batman talent, all the major DC talent traditionally. So basically, I call this section of our story Chaos at booth 2601.
I love it.
So that's
I could just picture like an actual like comic book cover with that title.
Oh yeah. So I show up at Snyder instinctively. My other guy, the only way I can see the other person is well, sorry, let me show you some line stuff too, just to kind of give you at least a good omen before all the bad stuff happens. There's our main image. Sorry, let me after the knit stuff, I kind of misordered the knit guys here. There we go. Little cap to start the day off there. The little Winter Soldier Captain America action there.
Dragon, I still regret not being able to get Captain America at Disney to say Bluedragonfive, I'm with you till the end of the line.
Yeah.
I want to at some point. I want to make that happen for you.
Sure. Okay, so I'm at the sketch start table, the 2601. So I'm there. Again, prime back because the other guy I'm there to see has a panel that I have to go to. I have a choice, like the one panel I absolutely have to go to because I can only get things signed by him after going to the panel. It's at least that's what it says.
Okay, gotcha.
As it's written down there, I got to be there at 12, and basically it's from 12 to 12:45.
Sorry, hold on. I'm gonna interrupt you really quick. Is there something wrong with Cap's color on the shield?
Well, no. Remember at the top of Winter Soldier, he has the stealth. He painted the shield stealth.
Oh, it's the stealth one. Okay, got it. All right.
He wears that's the Winter Soldier suit.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I'm not crazy about that shield color, but that's what it is.
Yeah, I was looking at it. I'm like, wait a minute, that's not right.
That's like the only gripe I have with Captain America: Winter Soldier. Like, why do we have to paint the shield that different? Like the one gripe I ever have with that film.
Right.
Anyway, so, I got a place to be at 12. Con opens at 10, so I got like a 2-hour window there. But I know Snyder's going to be a huge line because he's freaking Scott Snyder, and everyone loves him. Yeah. I love him too. We all love him. So
now, remind me, you didn't you used to like go to conventions where he wasn't so sought after?
Yes, that's the thing. Like,
right.
My first convention I ever went to. There was no line from what I walked up to him. It was
crazy.
I think it was 09. I just walked right up to him, and then the next year is when he blew up. 2010 is when Court of Owls happened.
Oh yeah, I mean Court of Owls would have put him on the map. Yeah, that makes sense.
Actually, I might have reversed that. I can't recall. It might have been that thing. Court of Owls. 2010 is when his story wrapped up, and then 2011 is when Court of Owls finished. So that's when it was going up. So that's probably what that was. So yeah, anyway. So yeah, but that's the thing. So I was able to walk up to Snyder, and then the explosion happened. That subsequent years, it was always like so charming to me. I just walk up and have that happen. So anyway, big old line. I do my research on Snyder. It says one freebie, and then the rest would be $10 a book. So my plan is between me, Gary, and the friend, and then I'd bite the bullet on 2 books to fill in for my folks who couldn't. If Snyder were there, I would have just hit him on Sunday, and that way he'll get my folks in there, and they'd help.
Sure.
We usually go as a family on Sundays. That's usually how that works. So basically, I'll bite the bullet. I'll do like the $10 on the 2 books. So basically, that way I get 5 signed. That's plenty. Because I only had like 2. Really, I only had 2 left that I needed signed from the original 5-year run, and then I get some of the stuff signed from the Black Mirror story that started off from that period before Court of Owls onward. Pretty achievable goal. So I show up there. I run into the exact same line buddy from the John Bogdanovi line.
Okay, but the thing is, that guy sounds pleasant, but he also sounds like a harbinger of doom to a certain extent.
To some degree. So he's there. And his brother's like in the Walt Simonson line, which, trust me, Tiki, the Simonson people, they're more screwed than anything. Because apparently the Simonson line, which again, that's another thing too. Like, I lucked out with the Simonsons. I got all the Simonsons I ever needed signed by him in the past. Yes, the line was a little big, but now it's like the lines are like day-long lines, These are like day lines of the convention and everything. And now they're charging after the freebies for them. So like, there used to be no charge at all. So that's the thing. So I lucked out. I never have to see Simonsons again. Not out of like malice or anything, but I never have to stand in line for it again.
Right.
Point being, so I'm there. His brother is in the Simonson line, which is right next door to things here, which is basically there's line traffic, Tiki. There's traffic with the lines because the Simonson lines are so long.
That bugs me.
It was like line traffic, and they have the teal deals trying to section off. Like, okay, no, the people against the wall for Snyder, and then they have Tom King hasn't even shown up yet. And Tom King's the other guy with Snyder levels of lineage.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. That
That's what I'm worried about too, because I was going to try and fit in Tom King today. And I was like, okay, so he's probably going to have a huge line. But anyway, so Snyder is there. So I asked my line buddy, my gray-haired line buddy, to hold my space while I do some recon for us all to find out what the deal is, pricing and stuff.
I don't like that idea.
So, but that though, this is like before anyone showed up.
I'm just kidding. I'm just saying based on what happened last time.
Yeah, this is the thing where I'm not going to other ones. I'm sticking with Snyder.
Right.
So, anyway, so I do some recon, and to my horror, I see the sign on his table, and the sign on his table does not say first raw free, then the rest is $10. It says 10 from the outset.
Oh no!
And I am not happy. I've had it with these sketch start people. I dig my heels in, friend. I say, I walk up to that table.
Okay, I'm sorry. I literally, I totally feel you in this moment, okay? But I just want to acknowledge, from an outsider's perspective, it sounds like you're about to go into, Karen mode. What do you mean I have to pay an extra $10?
No. Here's what I do. I walk up to that table and I speak to someone. I say, "Yes, hello, excuse me. Who's in charge of the sketch comic?"
Oh God!
Who do I speak to? And I was speaking to her. I try to explain to her. Excuse me, ma'am. Listen, I went online. Why are the prices not updated at these cons? Why is this happening? Why does this keep happening? Okay, because it says what is the point of having a website if it's not going to be updated? I pretty much said this, but maybe a little less, a little less firmly. Right, but I'm bringing it up conversationally. But I'm like, I just explained the frustration of I'm looking at Snyder's thing, for example, and Snyder says on that website, 1 free and the rest 10. What is this? I'm pointing at the sign. What's this? and she's explaining, well, at the cons, she's really trying to be nice, but at the cons, they're gonna have, like, basically, she gave me a really lame excuse. The day of the con, they're gonna feel a certain way about things. I'm just like, all right, I guess that makes sense. And it's like, I'm not happy about this at all. It's like, well, yeah. So she says, well, thank you for bringing it up, though. Maybe we'll try and we'll try and update that in the future, which they're not going to do. I know they're not going to do it.
Right,
so
right.
so basically, it's like, well, no luck on that front. I was hoping perhaps maybe there'd be like a guilt or a conscience or something. Like, you know what? Maybe we should give everyone a free book. I don't know. So that was a bummer, and I had to eat that. I limited to 4 books. I'd eat I'd eat that, the 40 on that one. It's really pissed me off, It did. So point being, all my preparation, the whole coordination with Gary and companies, I told Gary's not even there. Is Gary? Don't even worry about it. Just show up and let me know when you're here. So there was heartbreak there, but Snyder shows up, and you know what? Still lovely as ever. Just
I'm sure he is.
up,
yeah.
Coke and a smile. Like Scott Snyder wants to buy the world of Coke. That's that's who that guy is. He's nice. He remembers me. He's like, oh yeah, like it was really nice. He remembered me and the belt and everything and the whole thing. We commiserated a little bit there. So oh man, Scott, when are you gonna come back and write just like Pure and Soul Batman? I told him I love the 5-year run and everything. I told him about the whole Disneyland thing. But you know what? I mentioned this to you before. But it's so funny that you used to be in that Buzz Lightyear costume. I'm pretty sure I saw you as a kid.
Right.
But he was like delayed. He says, oh yeah, if it was between like 90, 98, 99, probably. Says, I used to go that frequently. I'm pretty sure I saw you.
Yeah.
You remember like a kid like hugging your leg once in the Buzz Lightyear costume? Anyway. He says, obviously you didn't remember that. But point being, that night I undid the buttons of my shirt Superman style, and I showed him like the logo from the Jim Gordon Batman from the Super Heavy runs. Like, we took a picture, and everything was great. So Snyder was great, got that in there right in the nick of time, so then was off to the Jeff Johns panel. Which brings us to our reveal. Jeff Johns, big guest. So yes, Jeff Johns, the essentially chief creative officer.
The name definitely sounds familiar. I don't know, like I couldn't tell you like off the top of my head what he's done, but I definitely recognize the name.
Jeff Johns, a big deal at DC. He was in charge of all the rebirths of all the characters. So he did. He basically brought back the Flash. The main reason I buckled down is, you know what, I got to see Jeff Johns. Because I have to thank him for what he did to the Reverse Flash. We don't have the CW Flash show without Jeff Johns' stuff in the comics, essentially. So we don't have like Reverse Flash killing Barry Allen's mother without this guy. We don't have like we always, Reverse Flash was the arsonist who's okay. He wears the yellow color. He wears the reversed colors. That's why that was what the original comics were. He was the one who made him. Oh man, he just hates him for such petty reasons. Like, this is everything I love about the Reverse Flash is thanks to this man. So I had to. So I like he did that. Did Batman Earth 1, for which we do not have the Batman without that. He did the Shazam comic with the recent Shazam comic, which is where we get the Shazam movie from, the first one particularly. The Green Lantern stuff, which technically we don't get the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern movie without, but you get the idea. He was in charge of the New 52. Again, he was up there and everything. And a big thing, Stargirl. Stargirl is his. He created Stargirl in honor of his sister who died in the plane crash.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I think it was. Darn it. Sorry, I'm pretty sure it was a plane crash. Anyway, also he interned for Richard Donner and everything. So he basically cold called Richard Donner. Richard Donner gave him a job as an intern, and he was able to write some Superman comics with him down in the future and everything. So, anyways, point being, it's a lot of love about Jeff Johns. So I heard his stories on Fat Man on Batman back in the day, and I was always kind of captivated by his story. So having watched the Stargirl show and being really charmed by, it, I was like, you know what, I really owe it myself to kind of see this guy. So it was $100 VIP ticket thing to see him, to go to the panel and everything, but you get 4 signatures, which is not bad. But I want to
that kind of seems like it evens itself out. Yeah,
it is. It's just a shame that so you're gonna do this. You have to go to the panel to see him. You can't just go up to the table or anything. So it's kind of like that. Yeah, it's the only way to. the way they sell it, that's the only way to get his autograph. You have to do the
Okay, well,
VIP.
it's funny that you mentioned that though, because I feel like that's one of the big differences between you and me as far as like how I would approach if I ever were to do a convention, which by all means I probably wouldn't, is that I feel like for me, panels would probably be like more my priority. I guess just because I'm not really like, I'm definitely not a collector, so like the whole getting things signed things that just would not really be part of my agenda, so my agenda would be more so like, just being able to hear, be in the room with these people and hear stories and stuff like that. So that's why if I ever were to go to a convention, I think I'd gravitate almost exclusively. I'd probably like, if I could, I'd probably like spend my whole itinerary kind of jumping around panels.
Well, you absolutely could do that because I mean, there's a lot of panels at the con, and admittedly, the celebrity guest panels are the best ones because you get to kind of sit around with them, and they tell you stories and stuff, and yeah, that's.
So I definitely think that's kind of like an interesting kind of like juxtaposition between you and me and how we would approach these.
Well, I don't mind the panel, but what something happened in the advertisement of this whole thing. This is kind of like where things kind of like. I'm not crazy, but
sure.
So here's the thing. They did not say. So I'm going into this thing based on the information. Like, okay, you do this thing, you get four signatures. It does not tell you like, oh yeah, so you might be able to buy extra signatures if you want to get more than 4 items signed, unless you want to. It makes it sound like you can only buy in increments of 4, like 100 a pop, which is not what anyone really want to do. And also it tells you, okay, you go to the panel, and after the panel, he will sign. He will sign stuff, and you're thinking, okay, it's going to be in the same room. So you go there. We go to the panel. While I was at the panel, by the way, this gentleman, right before the panel started, this guy is dressed like the Spirit, and I saw this guy when I was getting stuff signed by Snyder. And I was like, man, that guy has a really cool costume. If I was not standing in line, I would compliment him.
For sure.
He's sitting in front of me, and I said, "Hey, man, cool Spirit costume." And he says, "Hey, man, take a picture with me." He's like, "Yeah, this is because no, I want for petty reasons. My friend said no one's going to get who you are."
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that was cool. Anyway, so we're at the Jeff Johns panel. There he is. He's holding court. This is the moderator lady. He's like, getting to go through his life story, which includes like the internship with Richard Donner and everything. And he walks us through and also talks about his new project, which is probably the main reason it's a panel. Geiger essentially is this radioactive superhero kind of story that he's doing. It's really good. He showed some footage of it, actually, of like test footage of he's doing like some sort of live action pilot of this comic, which seems really interesting. I don't know if it's going to become a show or anything, but here's the thing. So here's something you're going to appreciate, Tiki. He had to keep things really on the down low because of the writer's strike. He could not mention anything media-wise except from that footage, and he can only show that footage. He couldn't talk about the making of that footage or anything.
Oh man, yeah, that's definitely a delicate line to balance for sure.
And there was a Q&A, and the Q&A was like limited to he can't talk about TV or movies. He could only, because he is involved in the movie and TV side of things. He just could not. He couldn't talk about his only comic stuff, which is fine, but still, it was like there was a very firm line drawn about the writers and everything. So anyway, so yeah, he does that.
Writer's strike is just it's getting messy as fuck, man. I don't know if you've been keeping up with it, but it is getting messy.
So there's Q&A, and I actually got a question at the Q&A too. I actually had a moment with them too. I said I'm standing there. So in the outfit that I'm wearing, I'm also wearing reverse flash socks. And it says, as you can tell, sir, by my socks, I'm a huge fan of the reverse flash. So first off, thank you for that. And then I asked him kind of a question about like him working with Donner and coming up with like the villains in question for the 2 books. Anyway, so then after that. So the panel is over. I'm expecting, okay, so he's going to stand at that podium and sign stuff, and it's just this thing of not knowing. And oh God, we're not signing in this room. So apparently we were signing in the room where Frank Miller was signing last year, but no, it's not noted anywhere in these brochures or anywhere. Like, hey, it'd be useful to say we're going to sign in this room after the panel. Because had I known that, I might have said, hey, Gary, hold me a spot in this area,
right? Totally, yeah.
So I won't have to wait 2 to 3 hours to get stuff signed by Jeff Johns, which is what happened. So I'm waiting for 2 to 3 hours versus the hour I was hoping to, because of that stupid thing. To make things worse, people because again, I guess people overbought because of the way they're not going into the details about like, hey, you can buy maybe certain amounts of tickets or so. Like, hey, you have the option to buy more tickets. You basically buy extra autographs if you want. But here's the thing: people were giving away extra tickets they didn't want, but because it only said 4, I didn't bring my extra stuff.
Oh man! Oh Jesus!
They're literally handing out free money, and I couldn't take it. Come on! I'm kicking myself so much for not bringing the extra. Because anyway, so that was a hard lesson to learn. Anyway, I brought the important stuff, so that's all that matters. Anyway, so I get up there. So I typed out a big old thank you note to Jeff Johns and thank you letter to Jeff Johns, and I even this is really dumb. I don't know if you noticed or not. I put on my reverse flash ring that I had when I got the stuff out, just so it's. I'm not going to wear it for the entire thing. It's really more of a display piece, not like an actual ring you wear.
Sure.
You know, just anyway. So I meet Jeff Johns. I meet the man. And the teal deals are like saying like, yeah, he's not doing like all front, and he's not doing pictures. So just you can take pictures while he's signing stuff, and he won't pose and stuff. So I'm thinking, yeah, F that noise. We're gonna ask. I mean, to a degree, it's like, I asked these folks about it, like, would you take it? Realistically, I asked the kind of folks about it, like, hey, you can take a picture, and like, I'll ask him, maybe he'll look up for a second while I'm doing the signature or something. But as I was in line, I saw him like taking pictures of people, and for one reason, it was really nice. He took a picture of every Stargirl that was there because, again, that character is a tribute.
Yeah, that's a nice gesture.
That's a sweet gesture, man. Like, I can't fault him at all for doing that. But other people too, he was getting pictures with them too. So it seems like he was like more laxed about them. The teal deals was trying to. It was that thing where they're trying to get everyone to move faster, and they're coming up with arbitrary. That's disgusting to me. Like, come on, guys,
right.
Rob people of the experience. That's despicable. Come on. So I show up there, and I'm chatting with him briefly because I know Mr. Johns, I know you're busy. It's gonna be a long line, so I wrote everything I want to say really in the thank you note here. And he was grateful and everything though, and I got a picture with him. He says, "Hey, this blew my mind." He says, "Is your email in the letter?" He says, "No, I didn't put the." He says, "Hey, can you write it down?" They wrote down the email.
Oh my God.
On the back of the letter. I don't expect him to ever email. It was a
sure, but just the fact that he was interested enough to ask for it, though.
Yeah, I thought that was so sweet to me. It's like, hey, Sharpie on the back of it, and yeah, he really even drew like a little picture inside when 3 of them were hardcover. Yeah, he drew like a little emblem of each individual heroes, and went for variety. There was a Superman book, 2 Superman books, a Batman book, and a Green Lantern book, and he signed them all.
Nice.
And yeah, so that was just Jeff Johns turned out really well. So it was a long wait, but it was ultimately worth it. So that was good. Also, you get a free print from it too, so that's kind of nice. Okay, so I am back. I'm heading. Also, Lex Luthor asked him a question, which I thought was very funny. There he is. Okay. All right, so I'm heading back to the floor, get a few pictures on the side here, a little group shot of Iron Man, Nick Fury, Cap, and Batman. I thought looked kind of cool. Just going to show you some cosplays here. Got Wonder Woman and Wolverine. And let's see. So let me, okay, so I go back to the floor. I hit Mike DiCarlo. This guy is the guy who did the art for the covers of Death of the Family. I believe the inside art too. He did the Death of the Family, or the big Jason Todd death.
Sure, yeah.
So, a nice guy, and he did model work for Superman the Animated Series and Batman the Animated Series. Admittedly, I was hoping. I asked him like, "Hey, so can you tell me a little bit about your DCAU work?" He says, "Oh yeah, sure." And he gave me kind of a surface level answer, and man, he was kind of up there. So it's like, it was fine. I was just kind of like hoping, like, maybe a little bit more of a chatty kind of thing, but A little more story wise, I guess, from him, but it was fine. Admittedly, I think it was a little. I think it's blame the writer's strike. I guess I don't know, but he was at the Heroes
Oh
Initiative.
yeah, right. I mean, again, it's just tricky line to balance there. Yeah.
Well, no, not about that. I don't not that specific. I mean, here's the thing. So he was at the Heroes Initiative booth. The Heroes Initiative booth is to benefit essentially benefit the writers' strike to a degree. Essentially, all the comic talent who have not gotten their fair share over the years. That's the whole point of the Heroes Initiative. It pays the suffering comic talent like the Bill Fingers of the world,
Oh.
and the Jack Kirby's and etc. So the fact that he was charging for signatures and that money ordinarily would, if someone were at the Heroes Initiative booth and they would ask for money, that money would go directly to the Heroes Initiative. All that money was going to him. I felt that was a little in bad taste.
Yeah, I can see that.
To me, but I had I had to go for it, so I did. All right, so then Tom King and Doc Shaner, he did the Doctor the the Adam Strange book. Anyway, so the point being, I got Tom. There was no line at all. The first time ever, there was like no line at all for Tom King or Doc Shanner. I just was able to walk up to him. I assume because Snyder was taking all the business. This is my guess. How the heck that's possible? Like first time ever in multiple cons, I could just walk up to Tom King in the middle of the day. Get.
Also, I'm kind of guessing that as far as crowds go, it could be that like towards the end of the day or towards the middle of the day, like crowds can kind of probably fluctuate from person to person.
I have to assume so. Yeah, I mean, probably it because you imagine them.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Honestly, you know what I think it is? Large majority of people probably in the Jeff Johns line still.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Which is ever growing and probably going to last till the end of the day, mind you. Anyway, depending on how many people bought the thing in advance, because that's the only people. A lot is pretty substantial, but that's the thing. Can't be everyone in the place because they all would have had to have bought the limited thing. All right. So let me show you. I got the last of my Steve Rude book signed today too. I was able to swing by and get that signed. I'm all good on Steve Rude, so mission accomplished there. So Tiki, things are picking up on Saturday. I'm getting everything signed like left and right that I had.
Yeah, sounds like it. This sounds like a much more productive day than the first day for sure.
So I'm going to take a moment to show you the art that I got because I also stopped by. I got the Katie Cook. She asked, I said like, "Hey, Katie," because I saw she was still working on the fourth one.
Yeah.
By the time I showed up, I checked in on her on Friday, and he says, I can come back. Like, I'm going to be here all 3 days. Like, yeah, sure. Let's come back tomorrow. I'll have them all done for you. So here's some art. So this is the print I got from Steve Rude.
Oh, that looks really good.
It's black and white, but I love it. It's I love the idea Superman's watching the George Reeves Superman show.
That's really cool. I like that.
Especially after talking about my adventures with Superman. I don't know.
Sure.
It just felt kind of cosmically right that I was in such a good space, having such a good time watching Superman on TV recently. It just kind of called to me, So I really wanted this. Look how wholesome it is. It's Superman with milk.
Oh, it's great, man. It's a great idea for an image, for sure.
Like Superman with milk and cookies, like poster, little TV, like a modest TV, not even like a big screen or anything.
Yeah.
All right, so here's the Katie Cook stuff that I got done this year. So first off, I had to pick 4 really good ones. Got my favorite moment from Toy Story. Done like a little watercolors, like a little tiny card, a little trading.
Wait, I like the watercolor.
Yep. So it's falling with style. Little Batman Gordon from the animated series.
Nice.
She likes to do cutesy gags, so she kind of improvised the whole
That's funny.
Now this one was a bit of a misinterpreting, but it's still really cute because I said Daredevil and She-Hulk, but it's Daredevil and and Jen.
Yeah,
it was. Still, it's really cute. I said just do something cute with Daredevil and She-Hulk with him in the She-Hulk show, which is nice. And lastly, on the other side of the coin there, Kingpin and Vanessa at the art gallery.
That's great.
Oh yeah, kind of. I told her to see if she can recreate kind of like the rabbit in a snowstorm moment. She obviously kind of deviated from the gradations in white, but still, it's nice. It looks nice. There's all 4 of them.
Awesome.
And all this went to benefit the Parkinson's Foundation, which I thought was, it was a worthy cause. It was good. Believe me, honestly, I tried to get a few more with her on Sunday, but she wasn't doing any more on Sunday.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, anyway. Okay, let's see. Okay, here's some. Let me show you some cosplays that were on the floor as well. Little Matt Murdock, blonde Matt Murdock. And I love this. I love there's almost like a cosmic kind of faded thing here where every con, every time you see a Matt Murdock, not far around the corner,
right, I've noticed that,
is a Kingpin. Yeah. You can kind of see in the photo. That's my Jeff Johns print that I got there. It's the free one that they threw in for the.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
It's from Flashpoint. Oh yeah. Let's see. So then we have Frog Thor or Throg.
Yeah, I saw that on the thumbnail. That's delightful.
Oh yeah.
I love the detail on the mask.
Yeah, here's actually like a big. If you look on the side, I don't know. I forget if it was just the mouth hole, or if it was like there's a hole in the side. You can kind of see the guy's face, but from an angle like this, it looks great.
All
right, let's see. Let me see. In terms of our events here, okay. So as I said, I got all the stuff. Pretty much, I got pretty much all the stuff signed. Mark Waid was the last one. Was one of the last ones I had. Unfortunately, now Mark Waid, I was expecting to be kind of like Brian Michael Bendis to a degree. Like usually, Mark Waid has no book limit at all, and everything gets signed. And sometimes he has lines, sometimes you just walk right up to him. And sadly, there's now a book limit on him, so that put a damper on. My plans are modest on Mark Waid. I had like just this new run of World's Finest, which is like let's say 16 issues. So I mean, it was a fair amount. Again, it was like a thing where Mark Waid, I get stuff. He's there every year, so I mean, he wasn't like a big priority or anything. But still, it was like a thing I could probably do myself, but I could not do it all myself. So I had to really get so many signed, and unfortunately, after the first pass, Gary and the lady friend, they were doing their own thing, and I called them there, and Mark Waid left because of the rain that was coming in, so he left early, so I can only get stuff I can get signed on my own. So pretty much two different visits, like two visits, and so I didn't put as much a dent in Mark Waid as I would have liked. I went around Artist Alley and I got some prints and stuff. But before that, let me tell you this story here. Okay, so that's John. That's the guy. There's the artist I was telling you about, John Bogdanovi.
Okay.
So remember, technically, I accidentally stiffed.
Okay. We're back to this. Okay,
so when I'm trying to get everything signed here, I realized in the middle, like, oh god, I have one major book that I should try to get signed by this guy. So I have it, and again, it's the one freebie. So okay, I'm going to get one more signed. I'm going to get this signed, and just, again, the off chance that I'm able to get him because he's not a priority because I already got the important stuff signed by him anyway. So I'm walking by, and after I've been making such great headway with everyone else, it's like, oh look, there he is, and there's no one in line. Except for this one guy.
Oh no!
I walked up there, and nothing bad happens, Tiki. But this one guy here, this guy is a fellow guy who's an artist at the con, and he's basically, I think he's doing some sort of almost like a portfolio review of sorts. He's basically showing his artwork, like an unofficial portfolio review. I did not know that at the time. I thought it was just the guy getting it signed. This guy's name is Matt Clark, and he's basically telling him his life story through art, and it's like. So I'm a guy saying there was one thing to get signed, and he's basically there chatting for a long time. It's low stakes for me, but still, it's just
right. Yeah.
Wait, but I mean, look, it's a riveting story, though. I'll be honest, though. I mean, this is a fellow artist. He he's almost died at the board, man. He's
oh wow.
At 35, he's had heart related issues. He's almost been taken out, man. His kidneys have shut down. This guy's a mess. But but that's the thing. Because he smoked for years and years. That's why.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, But yeah, so he's commiserating with John. I'm even getting in on the action a little bit too, like interjecting, like he's saying, "Hey, you guys seen the the My Adventures of Superman show?" And we're kind of chatting about that, and apparently John Bogdanovi, he's friends with one of the producers on the show, and I'm kind of teasing up the show for him. So it's fine. It's good camaraderie and everything. It's fine. So he gets like something signed too, and then he leaves. And eventually, I get my one thing signed. No ramifications at all. Again, he had no idea what happened. So scot free on that one. Just have to sit through a lot, but you're just fine. That's fair. That's justice. I'm okay with.
Right.
I mean, I think it's fair. I mean, he's got everyone else, getting things signed and everything. I don't know. Like, there's a lot of waiting. Again, he's doing sketches when they shouldn't be. I don't know. Maybe there's some scales being balanced. I have no idea. Anyway. So I'm in Artist Alley for a while. I'm waiting for. There's one guy, Brian Stelfreeze, I want to get signed because I have two things. Basically, I would have if I get Stelfreeze. I got Jim Starlin to sign something. It costs like a mint, like $20 for a signature from Jim Starlin these days because he knows how much he's worth. And the only reason I got it signed is because I got it signed by DiCarlo. If I didn't get DiCarlo to sign the book, I probably wouldn't have gotten Starlin to sign it anyway. So I get him to sign it. Then Brian Stelfreeze like the last guy because if I get him to sign it, then with the exception of the remaining Mark Waid stuff, I would have gotten everyone signed. So I'm killing time at Artist Alley and I buy some prints. And these are those prints. Look. Get Daredevil in the yellow and red.
Cool.
Little She-Hulk action.
Nice.
And the best one of all, the one I made. Okay, I gotta buy prints from this guy. Bob!
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
The Deadpool Bob, Agent of Hydra. Well, I still hope he's going to show up in Deadpool 3. Honestly, he's my big get. He's my big.
Honestly, Dragon, at this point, I feel like the question isn't who's going to show up in Deadpool 3. The question is who isn't going to show up in Deadpool 3.
That is a fair point. Anyways, I was so charmed by this print. Like, yeah, I'm getting them.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right. So, anyway, then I also okay, so I'm gonna dovetail this into Brian Stelfreeze. I got him. I got his signatures, and he and I were geeking out about Ray Gu because one of the comics I had signed was this really sweet Ray Gu cover. He's a cover artist mainly, does paintings, and he was sketches that with kind of like an interesting inking kind of paint job on it. And I was blowing his mind, telling him about Demon's Quest because he'd never seen it. Like, oh, you have to watch Demon's Quest.
Oh, really? That's cool.
You know how much I love Demon's Quest.
Of course.
Bro, this guy was
kind of reminds me of you giving David Mazouz the whole like watch Phantasm, man. You gotta watch Phantasm.
I gave David Mazouz his first copy of Mask of the Phantasm.
I still love that.
Yep, I gave young Bruce Wayne. It's the closest thing I'll ever have to giving the helping Batman out.
Oh God, more or less, yeah, you're not wrong.
Yep. Okay, anyway, so on the way out, speaking of Batman, there's other artists. I believe it was Phil Moy. I got this print. It's undeniably cool. Really cool.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right.
I love the angular look there.
Oh yeah, it's the new Batman Adventures look. It's kind of consistent with the new comic they have out. I don't know. It's just really nice.
Who's that one woman on the far right there?
That is Rock. You remember Roxy Rocket, don't you?
Oh yeah, vaguely. If you remember, I wasn't a big fan of her.
Yeah, that's the thing. I remember you don't like it. That's why.
Yeah.
That's Roxy Rocket. Yeah. She has the hots for Batman. Obviously, Batgirl's a little jealous of all the attention there, and Yeah. Honestly, the main reason I definitely wanted this because it reminded me of this story that Paul Dini told from this deleted gag from the Christmas episode of Justice League where it was like a drawn like storyboard like panel that they had like Batman having like a Playboy Mansion kind of Christmas party at Wayne Manor or in the Batcave or something. It's just like really it's a cutesy kind of gag. Anyway. Tiki, still there?
Yeah, I'm there. Sorry.
So that brings us to day 3.
Okay, day 3.
All right. So you can tell I kind of because this year is the 30th anniversary of Mask of the Phantasm, and this very week, in fact, I guess today, they released the 4K version for the anniversary.
Nice.
So at this point, Phantasm's on. I was going to go with Cap as I usually do, but you know what? Phantasm only turns 30 once. I figured I'd kind of wear my.
But you're telling me you went to full Baltimore Comic Con without doing the Cap get up?
Well, I had the Marvel rep. Well, yeah, I just won. Yeah. Oh, I should mention this. The main reason I didn't. I make a point to wear Cap because my usual podcast friends are there. They were not there this year. Instead, I networked for us with some other podcasters.
Oh, nice.
Yes, the folks from the from comic book, I believe the comicbook.com podcast. Yeah, so and they actually returned my call, so we can have them on.
Cool.
All right. So let's see. All right. Anyway, so point being, so day 3, I'm wearing my T Public Phantasm shirt, which is basically the Phantasm and the Batman the animated series logo pose.
Nice.
All right, let's see. So yeah, this one. So this is so Tiki, an unprecedented thing has occurred. I have gotten everything signed, which has always been the dream for me.
No, you're right. That is like in all the times that we've done these trip reports, you've always like had to go into Sundays.
Yep, it was always the foolish dream of like I'll get everything signed on Saturday and Sunday will be nice and breezy like the very first time I went to a con. Which
sure.
Now I did have some Mark Waid left over, but still, it was so few and far between. I could carry it in my little laptop bag versus the giant like war.
Oh my god, that must have been such a relief to not have to carry that big bag.
Yeah. So again, I have achieved in quotes success. Again, mind you, I say success and I got everything signed, but still things I had to cut back on things because people were charging inordinate amounts of money for some things. Per signature, I should say. Anyway, so yeah, the first time I've ever been able to do this, I had donuts on the drive down. So again, fuel before the thing. And Sunday is the time crunch of from 10 to 10 to 5. But again, dreading the sports traffic, all the sports stuff that's going on and everything. So dreading that, I'm definitely planning on leaving early, and I'm in a position where I can actually leave super early. In fact.
I know, right?
So rare. All right, so I bit the only thing I additionally splurged on. I bit the bullet, and you know what? I'm going to just get the freebie signed from Mark Waid, and I did. But I paid the $5 and got Tomasi to sign my first issue of Super Sons. Damian and Jonathan Kent. His kids. That one.
Nice.
I chatted with them and everything too, so I kind of bit the bullet there. I was trying to get some sketches done, but no luck because apparently no one's there at opening anymore. Like why? Like no one's there at the opening when I'm looking for artists to do sketches. If I'm gonna get them in, I gotta get them early. If I'm gonna leave early. And
fashionably late, Dragon.
And Katie Cook, I would have liked to give her more work to help the foundation, but she was kind of packing in.
Sure.
Like I'm kind of baffled to why she showed up if she wasn't going to draw anything. But
well, maybe she was like just kind of like stacked up on commissions throughout the first 2 days. That's kind of what I'm assuming.
That's assumedly exactly what she was really swamped on those 2 days.
Yeah.
That's probably what happened. I didn't help, obviously, but still. Okay, but here's the fun thing. So the whole con, I've been scouting out, preparing for Sunday, because admittedly I was hoping my father was going to feel well to do Sunday.
Yeah.
Because, he and I usually buy Legos on Sunday. It's kind of been the tradition. But, he was not feeling up to it, so I kind of bought them on his behalf and everything. But I've been scouting out the perfect Lego spot, because there's a few of them at the Comic-Con. You got to handicap, like, okay, which one's going to have the best deal, and which one's going to give the most Legos for the right price. So I found it, I zeroed in, and now, Tiki, we're going to go shopping. But before we do,
I'm sorry, the way you said that reminded me of like a random Mr. Burns line from The Simpsons. I'm sorry.
God. Okay, real quick.
Shopping, Smithers. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry. Mando, yes.
Yeah, it's a cool little Mando cosplay I wanted to get in there, too.
Okay, cool.
All right, anyway, so yes. Time to shop for some Legos. Let's see what I got. Okay, so this one was pretty much from my father.
Oh, I really like that. The classic Iron Man. That's awesome.
Yeah, this one was for honestly the thing that cinched it. The only Lego stand that had the Mark One armor with the fire trail was this one stand. That was kind of what clinched it. Like, I kind of have to go with this stand because it has this one cool detail.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, so this one I bought these for my father because he loves Iron Man. So I got him the Mark One, and essentially, so I don't think that's necessarily the last armor, but it's close to it, and it has like a little proof that Tony Stark has a heart, which I really like.
Sure, sure.
So there's that. Okay, so then we have a Buzz and Rex.
That's cool. That's super cool.
Now I have Buzz, but I got
Rex
this Buzz.
is almost kind of Duplo shaped.
Yeah, that's the thing. Sometimes you have the the larger, like, kind of like non-humanoid Lego. Sometimes they kind of go into the Duplo sort of. So yeah, I've had I have Buzz, but I do not have Buzz with a little green army man.
Oh my god!
It's entirely the reason I got
didn't
this
even
Buzz.
notice that until you pointed it out.
That is the entire reason I bought it. Yet
Oh my god!
Of a Buzz Lightyear. I needed the little green army man.
Wouldn't the green army man be more appropriate with Woody though?
Well, I mean, I think a bunch of them. Well, Woody came with Forky. That's the thing. They've been pairing Woody with Forky.
Oh, okay. But I'm just saying, like, Woody's the one that interacted
more
with Sarge. But
look, if I really wanted to, I could have probably put him on there. But
sure.
I already have Woody too, so that's the thing. Okay, Marty McFly.
Oh, that's nice.
That is nice. I was hoping for more.
That hoverboard effect is.
Yeah. I was hoping for more of the original Back to the Future 1 Marty. This is Back to the Future 2 Marty with like
Back to the Future 2 is the best Back to the Future.
Well, you legitimately feel that way, right?
I legitimately feel that way, yes.
Okay. Well, still, I mean, honestly, I kind of want like the life jacket and the blue look but still, this is.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
It's the self-drying jacket.
You got the hoverboard though, Dragon. That's
I know you got
classic pieces of Back to the Future iconography.
I know you got the hoverboard and you have the self-drying jacket.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so we have.
Oh my god, Bob Ross.
Yep, we got Bob Ross Deadpool.
What's up with the mini me Deadpool? Is that like intentional?
Well, no, it's mini me Wolverine.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's what I meant. Mini me Wolverine.
Yeah, I don't know what's up. They had a number of these Legos at this stand that had the mini me kind of like little.
Okay.
I don't know, it's kind of like, honestly, it was kind of like.
How I read that is it's literally just like Wade's inflated ego. Like, yeah, Logan's in this movie too, but I'm the main star. I'm the big one.
It does read that way.
Right.
All right. This guy, I have no idea who this is. It's just honestly.
Oh, is that vaguely looks like Slender Man?
I mean, maybe.
I don't think it is, but like with the fingers.
Honestly, what happened was Sunday, my father was unable to go. My mother did go with me though, and she loves skeletons and skulls and stuff.
Okay.
So she picked out this one. She liked.
Oh, that's cool.
I kept telling her, it's not really like Jack. It's not Jack Skellington. She says, I don't know. It's just kind of fits the skull motif. And I was like, all right, fine. So she went with it. There's the question.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I just saw. You do not see the question every day, man. Like, let alone in Lego form. Okay, so
oh man, that might be my favorite one out of the bunch.
I've been because of there's this YouTuber. I've been getting back in touch with my Dragon ever since Dragon Ball Superhero came out. And I watched it with my friends. I've been kind of on an exploratory kick, getting back in touch with my roots, which aside from Batman were Dragon Ball. So lately, I've been really getting in back in deep with the Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z and stuff, particularly Dragon Ball. And I'm trying to.
Dragon Ball is the best out of all the series. Yeah.
Undeniably, Dragon Ball is still my favorite, without a second's hesitation. So when it comes
Dragon Ball Z is fun, but it gets repetitive. Like Dragon Ball Z is the one where it's like it started to get into the territory of like 15 episodes of charging up a single attack.
Like recently, I bought the game Dragon Ball Z Kakarot only because they added the DLC, which is you get to play the last season of Dragon Ball, which is the World Martial Arts Tournament, Piccolo and everything. So because just in some small sense,
I literally just like now that we're talking about it, I literally just want to go and rewatch Dragon Ball again.
For Christmas, I'm gonna get the whole series of Dragon Ball for Christmas. So.
Nice.
regardless, because of that DLC, because you get to play in some sense, you get to play as Goku, and you even get to play one level as Kid Goku fighting Demon King Piccolo. And then you get to play him at the World Martial Arts. You get to play through an actual World's Martial Arts tournament. I had to go for it. So I've been playing through that game, which Dragon Ball Z Kakarot also takes you through all the story of the original Dragon Ball Z, stuff. I've been re-familiarizing myself with it. Anyway, so with merch for Dragon Ball Z, I try and stick only with Dragon Ball. So I saw that this is the only place that had it too. It had Kid Goku. And I made sure I had to switch around a few of them because they all the Dragon Ball characters came with Dragon Balls, the Holden Dragon Balls, and I made sure. Okay, I'm gonna find that 4-star ball. I took off the 3-star ball that was on Goku. I put on Frieza. I put the 4-star ball on Goku, and that's the one I got.
Nice.
You can't see it here, but on the back they have the tail on them. It's painted on, but it's there. Anyway. And this is the big one. The Lego I wanted this year that I knew they would finally have is the yellow and red Daredevil from She-Hulk. So
pretty cool.
That was my big get. That was the one I was hunting. That was like the make or break for any of these Lego stands. And this one was for my grandmother, who's obviously been through a lot this year. This is she loves Sean Connery, and that is Henry Jones Sr.
Again, I'm not a fan of these mini figures on the side.
I don't really. Yeah, I don't know.
But that is cool though.
Yep. And Santa Pool.
Oh my god.
My favorite detail: the katanas are gift wrapped.
Yeah.
And the other reason I got it goes with this one I got from last year.
Look at that.
Christmas nice. Grogu. Yeah, and that's the end of the road, kids. I'm gonna stop sharing now. Let me make sure if there's anything. I'm gonna stop sharing, and okay, we got the Legos. Oh, okay. Let me tell you one more story, and then we'll get out of here. Okay, so
should I throw the main banner back up?
Yeah, throw the main. Yeah. Well, we don't technically need any banners, but yeah, it's the main image.
Well, no, I know the image. That's what I meant, not banner. I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so one last thing. So before I left,
yes,
probably rather easy here. On the way out, I saw that my friends who sold me the giant Batman the Animated Series. Remember I showed you last year that giant Batman the Animated Series, the cell like lithograph that was signed by Bruce.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So I bought that. And I have it hanging in my living room and everything. But I saw those gentlemen who were there. And basically, these guys inherited a collection, I guess, from their father or something. Basically, they've been trying to sell it off at the con, and they try to sell it off like crazy. So this is all stuff from the Warner Brothers store that is no longer in production or circulation or anything. You can only get on eBay. So they inherited this collection.
Oh God! I mean, first of all, just the Warner Brothers store, just in general, just talk about nostalgia, man.
Exactly. Oh God.
You know what's funny is that they're in my at the mall in Santa Rosa, which I'll sometimes go to just to walk around in to kill time waiting for the bus because it's right by the bus stop. Mm-hmm. There's still you know how the Disney stores had the really distinct storefronts.
Mm-hmm.
And you can still like totally tell, like even if it's a completely different store, you can totally tell that it was a Disney store.
Yeah.
My mall has one of those, and it's delightful to walk by.
I kind of have one of those. I see.
It's like you can't fool me. I know you were a Disney store.
I can see the ghost. Damn it! I can see the ghost of the Disney store at my local mall.
Right, exactly. I mean, it's like it's so because I think the telltale thing is like the two kind of like roundish display things on either side of the entrance.
I know. I have that.
Yeah.
I have that too. Right, so anyway, so these guys inherit stuff that's all items from the Warner Brothers store. I have a profound weakness for buying Batman the Animated Series stuff. It's like that's the sickness for me. It's like the collectible thing of like, oh, I can't resist.
I know, yeah.
And to double this weakness, the Batman the Animated Series stuff that's from the Warner Brothers store. So
Oh
those
God.
guys are there, and my attention is like my mother says, "Oh, did you see the bat? I saw this Batman thing." Like, you did? Like, where's? And they show it to me. Like, oh, she shows it to me. Like, oh no. I see galore of like some really good stuff. Two big items kind of had me. There's basically the version of the thing I had from Batman the Animated Series, but with Batman Beyond, which is really super tempting to me. The only problem is it's huge. I mean, there's like a wall space issue, but also it's like a thing of Tiki. I almost would have walked out of there with that and the other thing that I bought, but it was just a matter of it's too similar to the animated series thing that I have. It's just it's the producers signed it, and the only it's like it's the open. It's the people who did the opening of the Batman Beyond series, like Darwin Cook's signature is on there as well.
Uh-huh.
I had Darwin did. I made an offer on it to get that, and the other thing which I did ultimately get, I got a lithograph that was signed by Kevin Conroy.
Nice, nice. Cool.
Autograph, but this is something special, and he signed better price on it. And point being, I went with that. I tried getting both for like 800. Yeah, I tried getting both for 800, and the guy wouldn't go for it. It was we were in the similar ballpark, but it was just too much, and for something that I already kind of have the more important version of with the animated series one.
Cool.
But yeah. So point being, I left home with it though. I have a little piece of Conroy, for a little treat for myself. And yeah, that was it. And it was an early exit to beat the traffic, and that was my adventure. That was my crusade, my caped crusade. Ended with getting a little piece of Batman on the way home.
Alrighty. Well, any final thoughts?
Well,
Any last words of wisdom to round things out?
Well, again, I really wish I felt better at that time, so I could have really kind of basked in everything more. But on the whole, things ultimately worked out. I kind of, again, in retrospect, I would have loved to have brought more Jeff Johns books, and I would have probably brought less of some of the other guys had I known, pricing wise, what certain people would be. But yeah, it was more of an expensive year than I was expecting. Could have been more expensive. I went for the two giant framed images of Batman, but I didn't do that. I don't know. It was just it was a struggle, and but it was a struggle, but it was ultimately a lot of fun on Saturday, despite all the strife and all the sniffles. It was an adventure, and it was a pick me up that I needed. I just wish I felt better, all considering.
All right.
What about you? You got anything?
Well, it's definitely a different year because of the strike and everything. I got to tell you, I think just the actual story kind of peaked in day one because that's where it was all like, the stress. Like you really had me with the whole like jumping between the three lines thing, Dragon. I was on the edge of my seat with that. But overall, I'm just really glad you had a good time and that things kind of like evened out because day one sounded like super stressful. And I know that it's been a rough year for you. So I'm glad that day three you were able to just kind of take it easy and really enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, folks. We didn't get any comments, but we have had a couple people watching us. So thanks for that. You guys will be back. Casey is hopefully going to be joining us tomorrow for Mando, or not for Mando, for Ahsoka. He's going to be joining you. And then you and I will be back talking Batcave on Thursday. Phineas and Ferb on Friday. We got a whole week's worth of our usual content lined up, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, all right. Have a good one, folks.